Buenos días, un especial saludo a la comunidad de la Universidad Nacional de Colombia. Good morning to our friends at the University of Helsinki. Estamos iniciando una nueva jornada, una nueva actividad de nuestras jornadas de internacionalización organizadas por la Dirección de Relaciones Exteriores. Esta charla va a ser desarrollada en inglés. Luego ustedes tendrán la oportunidad de escucharla nuevamente, de seguirla, de ver detalles en nuestras redes sociales, en nuestro canal de YouTube y por supuesto también en Facebook. Los invitamos a participar enviando sus preguntas, las cuales recogeremos a lo largo de la jornada para formularlas a nuestro invitado. So, good morning from Colombia, good evening in Finland. We are very pleased to have this conversation about the University of Helsinki. Thank you, Odi Orenius, for accepting the invitation to participate and to tell us a little bit about the interesting things that we can learn about the University of Helsinki. Odi is part of the International Exchange and Educational Service Division at the University of Helsinki. So, the dynamics will go like this. First of all, we will have a presentation by Odi. We will have a chance to gather the questions. And after that, we have some time to solve doubts and to expand a little bit on the interesting things that we can learn about the university. The idea is to provide some information that illuminates our understanding about your university and your culture, and to think about the possibility of engaging in cooperation activities, mobility, research projects, and other kinds of academic endeavors. So welcome and thank you for accepting the invitation. Now I give the floor to Odi. You will have a chance to do your presentation to tell us about the University of Helsinki.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Greetings from Helsinki, Finland. I will be giving you a short presentation, and I will be, as I work at the International Exchange and Education Services, it'll be focusing on the exchanges today, but there's some general information about the university, and feel free to ask questions and I will do my best to answer them, although they weren't necessarily part of that presentation. Some general information about the university, and feel free to ask questions and I will do my best to answer them, although they weren't necessarily part of that presentation. Some general information about the university, and feel free to ask questions and I will do my best to answer them, although they weren't necessarily part of that presentation. So I can hear myself still speaking on the background, but I hope it's now not speaking over my previous talk. So this would be a view on Helsinki from the sea, and it's a little bit fake. We don't often have so high amount of ice, but the Baltic Sea certainly freezes every winter. We are quite popular university among exchange students all around the world. We have some 1,200 incoming exchange students per year, visiting us from about 60 countries from all over the world. We have quite a wide range of multidisciplinary degree programs. Vast majority of our bachelor's level programs would be in Finnish. We only currently have one English bachelor's degree program at the Faculty of Science called Bachelor's of Science, and all the others have some courses in English that exchange students are of course welcome to take. But we have 35 international master's degree programs with teaching in English, and advanced level bachelor's students, meaning third year and onwards, can also take our master's level courses when they visit us. And they also do so because about 70 to 75% of our incoming exchange students are indeed bachelor's level. And the picture actually you see here is from our main library. It's a very light building, and it would have 1,000 workplaces for like studying and relaxation, like some cozy reading corners and also computer, and nowadays much more places for own laptops to sit with, but also a kitchen and a balcony with a view to the dome that you can see behind or you saw in behind the first picture from the sea. Currently, we have an exchange agreement with your university, with the faculties of biological and environmental sciences and the faculty of science, and they are located on 2 different campuses. And here you would have an aerial photo of the Viki Campus, where we have like biosciences faculties. So besides the biological and environmental sciences, we have the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry, Faculty of Veterinary Science, and Faculty of Pharmacy. And our incoming exchange students are welcome to take courses from the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry as well. There are quite a few topical interesting courses, for example, in tropical forest sciences that overlap often with the incoming exchange students' interests. So this would be the campus in the front. In between, you would have a quite large natural habitat protected area, like a water, a wetland protection area with bird towers, and all the way in the back, you would see the city center of Helsinki. And the Faculty of Science would be located on our Kumpula campus. It would be a little sort of between the week. It would be on the left side from this picture, and the city center you can see again in the back. And all the exact natural sciences are taught at the Faculty of Sciences. All in all, we have 4 campuses. So besides these Viki and Kumpula campuses, we would have the city center campus, where we have such as faculties of arts and social science and theology and law. And then we have Meilahti campus for the Faculty of Medicine. So 4 campuses and 11 faculties all in all at the University of Helsinki. Here I listed some of, or actually all the study programs of the Faculty of Biological and Environmental Sciences. So these would be courses that your students, would they come to Helsinki for an exchange, would be able to choose courses from. We have listed separately courses in English. I can share this PowerPoint presentation with your faculty after the presentation, and in case they are able to put it somewhere where you can access the links in case you're interested. And this picture here would be from the Viki campus during the winter time. And the same, these are only the master's level programs on Kumpula campus. These would all have teaching in English. And then below is listed the bachelor's program in science. And again, the picture from Kumpula campus during the winter time. This year we had quite a lot of snow in Helsinki, but these days there are years, especially falls, that don't necessarily see snow. So if you want to come to Helsinki and make sure to see snow, so then it's safer to place your exchange or visit to the spring term. Also, the weather conditions it's much nicer to go towards the summer and spring when the days are getting longer and you don't necessarily have so much wet snow like slush and sleet on the ground. Especially November can be quite interesting, let's say, in Helsinki, with very little light and wet and cold. In Helsinki and in Finland in general, there's quite a lot of culture and nature to enjoy. All areas, although Helsinki is the capital of the country, it has a lot of forests. This picture, however, with the hiking and the lady and the dog here would not be from Helsinki, but there are national parks very easily reachable from Helsinki, even by public transportation. So this picture may be a little bit further from the north, with some hills in the picture, but you would find lots of forested area, even from almost the city center. You have a national park stretching actually all the way almost to the north of the country. Someone once made a newspaper article about walking from Helsinki to Lapland and going through the forest all the time. And the right-hand picture here would be from one of our biggest, the only kind of festival kind of celebration, 1st of May celebrations, where students and also graduates gather in the city center and in one park near the city center and celebrate the Labor Day and arrival of spring, I suppose. Also, it's quite a difference, like with the calm winter time, and then comes lots of light and you start seeing people on the streets. So this is a celebration that our incoming exchange students often enjoy, also seeing a little bit different side of the normally rather maybe quiet and calm things. But besides these, there's Helsinki is quite a small and safe city, but it has a lot of activities and cultural events and small pubs and restaurants with many like culture pub evenings and things like that. Lots of museums. And yeah, for exchange students, especially such events and networking possibilities are often quite important. There are also 250 student associations in Helsinki, at the Helsinki University, organizing all kinds of things, from debate clubs to wine tasting, for example, just to mention a few. This would be a map where Helsinki is in the middle, and this is the capital area of the country. As you can see, it's a Rhine surrounded by sea, but also nature. I don't know how well you see the light green areas, but there's forests. Often people are surprised when they land at the Helsinki-Vantaa airport and there's just forest around it. Although it's a little bit outside the city center, but still, it's very green. There are lots of students. Helsinki University alone has some 30,000 students studying. There are other universities in Helsinki as well. As mentioned, green. It's clean, by the sea. One thing exchange students find very comfortable is that it is very safe and stable environment. When you come alone to a foreign country, these things are quite important. And yeah, it has quite a unique variety of cultural events, especially if you adventure a little bit outside of Helsinki. You would have events such as mobile phone throwing competitions, wife carrying competitions, mosquito killing competitions. Yeah, even bizarre things that Finland is famous for. Air guitar, we are famous for air guitar competitions. Lots of small startups here, also at the university campuses. On Viki Campus, there are separate buildings for small startups that are specialized in the areas of the faculty's facilities. And it's very easy to get from one place to another in Helsinki. The public transportation is affordable and it works very well. And yeah, there's of course Nordic style and design. And although it might not be so easy to make friends with the Finns, they tend to be friends for life. So I hope you will have a chance to visit us one day. We offer for students coming to Helsinki some orientation, and although Finland and Helsinki might strike as an expensive city to live in, it's actually quite affordable for students with lots of student discounts. I hope I used the correct translation, but I checked that the lunch, for example, would be something like 13,700 Colombian pesos, and the public transportation I mentioned would be something like 160,000, and this would be all like buses, trams, subways, and ferries within the Helsinki region. And when arriving to Finland, we have student tutors who will introduce the university life and help with some practical issues. The top picture here would be from the university. The university main building on the city center campus is in the background, and the old main library would be the one with the small dome in the back, and then you would see the dome, the church, on the right hand side. And this was an event organized by the student organizations, like outdoor dinner for all university students. And the white caps you see them wearing would be something that Finns get when they graduate from high school. We don't have these American style black things from university, but this is what you get from a high school. We have agreements with housing providers, and students coming from outside of Europe will get a house. If you apply for it, when you apply for exchange, you will get housing from one of our student homes. And I also checked some of the pricings, and it did sound quite expensive to my ear, but your currency is so different. So it would be somewhere around 2.5 million Colombian pesetas per month. So I guess for your standards, it might not be very cheap, but compared to private market, student housing is quite affordable. And yeah, here would be a picture from one of our student housing buildings. So that was it in short. And if there are any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them.
Thank you, Odi. Very interesting information and precise information about what you have at the university, right? Yes, we have some questions from our students, from our audience, right? We also have some faculty interested in learning a little bit more about your university. Well, one of the first questions has to do with the language. Is it difficult to integrate to everyday life if you don't speak Finnish, or is English enough?
Yeah, English is definitely. Yeah, the English is definitely enough. My husband is actually from the Netherlands, and he found it very hard to learn Finnish in the beginning, because if anybody noticed that he was struggling at all with the Finnish, they would immediately swap to English. So I would say 99% of population of Helsinki speaks good and fluent English. And but we do offer Finnish courses if you're interested in learning some of the basics. So you're welcome to practice the language. At least it's good for against Alzheimer's. It's considered one of the most difficult languages in the world to learn, but to get some basics, it's not so hard.
Right, but you can function successfully with English, right?
Definitely, right. Definitely.
And you mentioned that most undergraduate programs are taught in Finnish. So for our undergraduate students, the possibility to engage in some sort of exchange would be for a limited number of courses that are run in English. Am I right?
Well, if they would be a third year bachelors and above, then they are quite welcome, and they always actually take our master's level courses. Of course, they would have to check that they have the prerequisites, like not to take the most advanced level. We have listed on our website what is the background information you need to have in order to attend a certain course. And sometimes you can also ask the teacher what would be the background, some sort of literature if you wanted to prepare for the course. But there are like some bachelor's level. So we've had at the Faculty of Biological and Environmental Sciences even second year bachelor students, but then they indeed had a more limited amount, and they took some courses from the neighboring faculties also to get enough bachelor's level courses, but there are enough for a half a year exchange at least, I would say. But Faculty of Science, it's easier because they have this Bachelor's of Science program in English already. I know there's plans to increase even in the biological and environmental sciences, so there will be more courses. We have recently recruited more international professors, and obviously they won't be giving lectures in Finnish, so there's going to be more even in the future. So bachelor's level students are welcome, but third year and forward at the moment is more suitable.
For the bachelor, right?
Yeah.
Right. Very interesting. Now, in connection to, because I understood that you have a high number of international students at your university. So, and language and communication is an issue as well, right? So, do you run like cultural clubs and conversation clubs in order for them to keep on practicing and to exchange cultural issues as well?
Can't say for sure. This would be something that the student organizations might
Right.
have on their agenda. There is a language program at our language center, which is kind of like a tandem teaching. So you could, if you wanted to learn, say Finnish or German, then you could attend it, and you would be like teaching Spanish, and then your tandem person would be teaching you whichever language you were hoping to learn. So there are this is official, something that the university staff runs, but then otherwise this cultural integration is on student associations, but they have a lot of, during normal time, of course. Now during this COVID pandemic, it's very limited, obviously, but there have been online events where we introduce, for example, how to dress in Finland in the winter and that such sort of cultural things. And we have a Facebook group for incoming exchange students where we try to share information about Finnish festivities and delicacies and such sort of things. So some of it, I would say, is at least covered.
Thank you. Very interesting. Now let's talk a little bit about questions regarding possibilities for exchange programs and cooperation. One has to do with the process to apply to a master's degree or a PhD program. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, so as mentioned, we have the 35 international master's degree programs, and the application period is always from December to January the previous year. For the courses, our academic year starts in end of August, so you would have to apply about half a year before, and it's a paper application process, so you don't need to, for the bachelor's level, except for the English one, we always have entrance exams. But for master's level, it's you send your transcript, motivation letter, and apply for master's degree program. These days, it costs. They are like for students outside of EU. The prices on the master's degree programs vary somewhere between 10 to 15,000 euros per academic year. So it is not free anymore. But if you are a very high standard, high performing student, you can apply for a scholarship, which would be basically a waiver for the tuition fee. So we do accept those every year as well for each program.
Now, and now that you talk about this, is another question that was raised by our audience in connection to scholarships available for Colombian students, for example, in particular. So could you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, for exchanges at the moment, we don't unfortunately have any scholarships for Colombia. But for the master's degree programs, you can apply for the tuition waiver at the moment. So we don't well, we have half and full scholarships for the master's degree program, which would be like half of the tuition fee or the full tuition fee. But at the moment, we don't have, because we don't have such a long tradition of gathering lots of tuition fees. So we don't have large funds to offer grants like some of the leading universities in the US and England, for example. University education is state funded. So at the moment, we spend pretty much what we get, but tuition waiver is something, and we're hoping that in the future, once we collect these funds from the tuition fees, then we will be also able to provide like for living expenses as well. But at the moment,
and is it the same? Sorry, and is it the same situation for PhD programs in terms of possibilities for scholarships?
No, actually, for PhD programs, the situation is better. There is EduFi for the Finnish Ministry for Education, which offers scholarships, which would be 1,500 euros per month. So this covers more or less the basic living expenses in Helsinki. The application is done in cooperation with the supervisor. So if you are interested in a PhD project, you should first contact our personnel and find someone who's willing to supervise you. And it's the supervisor who applies for this particular fund. And then it's obviously the student who gets the prize. But for this one, you need to first find a supervisor. We receive some 30 EduFi scholarships students every year to University of Helsinki. So it's quite well used and granted. It's, I mean, if you have a supervisor on a good topic, it's, I would say, relatively easy to get the funding.
So that's very interesting. The key aspect is to find a supervisor. So just start talking about the possibilities and perhaps the relevance of your agenda, and see how the supervisor can mentor you in order to go through the process. Right. Very interesting.
Yeah, I could share. We have a research portal. If you Google University of Helsinki research portal, you would find all our researchers and their fields and also their connections. Like you would have a map of Finland with lines to like which countries they are already cooperating with. So that would be a good place to start looking for such connections if you don't already have some.
Right, that would be very useful for us. So once we get it, we will just share it with the audience, right? We publish some bulletins every week. And so we will include the information, the link to the information in one of those. Thank you. That'd be very useful. Now we would like to learn a little bit about the possibilities for joint research between your faculty and ours. So what kind of schemes and what kind of agendas do you think you might be interested in?
Well, this is, I have to say, a topic that's already a bit far away from my field of knowledge. I used to work in a faculty, but it was at the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry, and more precisely the Department of Forest Sciences. So I might have been able to tell something there, but I've been working at the kind of main governance level and mainly coordinating the exchanges. So for this, I don't really have answers for you. I know that environmental sciences is, we have a relatively new program, is the environmental protection and global challenges. So that I know is kind of a new and rising topic, but I could maybe see if I can provide you with the links of the universities or the faculties topical research areas when I send you the research board link, and together with that would probably be a good source to look for the information.
Well, we have, thank you. So we will see also this, I mean, like what kind of questions emerge from our faculty as well. And once we get info about that, we will also share it with our faculty, and we will do the same thing. We will send you information about our research groups and the different lines. Okay, we are a leading university in the area of research in our country. So we might be very interested in promoting that as well, right? So here we have several students and faculty interested in learning about possibilities and programs in the area of economic sciences. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I mean, studying economics or management?
Yeah, we don't teach so much management. That would be more the Aalto University. But we do have economics. We have it both more like sort of an environmental economics, which would be at the Faculty of Agriculture and Forestry, and then more the, you say, hardcore pure economics at the Faculty of Social Sciences. And these are areas that I don't know too much about, but yes, we certainly teach them, and there's research, ongoing research, and of course, international contacts in that as well.
Mhm. Well, so um, to sum up, yes, we have options to explore areas of economics and also in terms of environmental studies, right? Which is another question that was posed in our chat, right? Now we have a question regarding double degrees. So what kind of experience do you have, or would you the university be interested in engaging in some sort of double degrees?
Well, we are quite new in it. I actually used to coordinate a double degree program at the Department of Forest Sciences. It was EU funded one with two American and one Swedish university, but it only ran for the time that the funding was available. But I would say that we are slowly starting to explore the possibilities. There's at least one joint PhD program development ongoing at the Faculty of Pharmacy, and there are double degree programs, and there are plans for more. We have recently hired a new person in our team to help navigate and explore the possibilities. But in my experience, it's challenging, the least to say, because universities often have, at least the American universities, had very clear set of rules, and only certain papers and templates could be used. And there are still, so it depends also on the partner, how flexible they are in. We are quite flexible, I would say. There are certain minimum criteria, the degree requirements that need to be met, but in bureaucratic side, we are quite flexible. Whereas often our partners were more flexible in the course content, but less so in the bureaucratic area. So interesting, challenging topic, I would say.
Right. But it's interesting that you have some experience in pharmacy, which is a strong area we have here at our university. And by the way, it is playing an interesting role nowadays in terms of health services and research in the field, right?
Yeah.
So we understand that paperwork and bureaucratic issues are mandatory, but okay, but I mean, we would be very interested in exploring that as well, right? Um, I would like to uh, I would like to invite you to perhaps gather some final remarks in terms of the possibilities that we Colombian students and faculty would like to or might be interested in exploring at your university as a means to close this session. That has been very interesting. You have provided very interesting information, and be sure that we will include the information that we mentioned, okay, in our coming bulletins.
Okay, so at least at the moment, so as mentioned, there are agreements, student exchange agreements with the faculties of science and biological and environmental sciences. So if you're interested in either one of these or studying either one of these fields, you're very welcome to do an exchange. Springtime weather-wise, I recommend more, but fall time for interesting experiences. certainly. And of course, courses vary, so you should maybe look for the period that offers the most interesting courses for you to learn. We have quite a different learning system from, let's say, most of the countries in the world. So I think it would be, besides the knowledge that you would learn, also the methods and the teaching ways to teach. Students find it very interesting. And this is something, of course, your faculty members might be interested also to visit our faculty. If you find a contact that is willing to receive you for a visit, to maybe follow a little bit and see how the teaching methods differ from yours. PhD students, keep in mind the EduFi fellowship grant. It's an affordable and interesting way. It varies from 6 to 12 months, the grant period. So it is something that makes coming to Helsinki a whole lot easier. We have housing for faculty members that the EduFi fellowship students can apply for. And also, if you're interested in deepening the research and faculty exchange, then we can discuss maybe a memorandum of understanding in that field. And should we have one, then we can also provide housing for incoming staff members for 1 to 2 weeks. So maybe this is something I could. Finns are very bad at saying so many great things about their country, but it is an experience, and I warmly welcome you.
Thank you so much. We will make sure that our community revise, and check all the information that you have provided. So far we see possibilities for MA students, some possibilities for undergraduate students in the last part of their career, their undergraduate program. So English would be mandatory if we want to engage in these sort of exchange programs. And very interesting options for us to explore possibilities for PhD programs and perhaps double degree programs in the area of pharmacy to begin with, right? So thank you so much, Audie, for your time, for the information. As we mentioned at the beginning, we will have this video in our YouTube channel so that our community can have the chance to check what you have shared with us right today. Muchas gracias a toda la comunidad de la Universidad Nacional de Colombia por participar en este conversatorio, en esta información que nos ha brindado la Universidad de Helsinki en el marco de las jornadas de internacionalización del primer semestre del 2021. Les recordamos que podrán revisar la información que nos ha brindado nuestro paraacadémico de la Universidad de Helsinki en nuestro canal de YouTube. Los invitamos a continuar participando en la programación que hemos preparado para esta parte del primer semestre del 2021 en nuestros boletines y en nuestras redes sociales. Un buen día para todos. Good evening, and thank you again, Audie, for taking the time to share with us about your university.
Thank you for inviting me. It was an honor.
Thank you. Good night, and let's keep in touch.